Okay, so let's today use the iTenna products to do a Class 5 composite filling. So today I'm going to start out with using Iperbond. It's our bonding agent at iTenna. It is really great material. I can use it in a variety of different ways. I can use it as a self-etch, a total etch, selective etch like I use. I could even self-cure with it, which would be great for spots where I can't use a curing light. I really don't use that option very often, and I have to use an activator with it too, but that is an option with this really cool bonding agent. Then we're also going to use two of the Reflectus products, Reflectus Flow and Reflectus the Nano Hybrid composite material. So Reflectus Flow just comes in a little syringe like this, comes with the tips, and works really great in small posterior fillings. I also sometimes line deeper preps with it in the very floor of the prep, and it flows really nicely for me. And then Reflectus, the Nano Hybrid, it is great in the anterior. It's so beautiful and workable. I also use it in the posterior. In this box there's compules. I also have it in syringe form here as well. This is the syringe form of it. So both of these I use but just in a little different way. I use the anterior, I use the syringe, just a little easier in my hands. And then I like to load the composite gun with one of these little composites, compules. And I just find that when I put it in here and I have it ready to go, that it just reaches back in the posterior easier for me. But whatever works best in your hands. And then we're going to polish everything up today with Perfect Polishers. These are iTenna's armamentarium of the polishers, and they come in discs right here. They come in the cups and the points. So I'll just lay these out right here. And this way I can just ensure that I get something into the grooves and along the broad sides of the teeth as well, and get a really nice shine and polish. So to begin, let's start with the Iperbond. So like I said, I can use it in a variety of different ways. In my practice, I use it primarily with selective etch. So I just etch the enamel portion of the tooth, not the dentin, and then I let the beauty of the bonding agent kind of work down there in the dentin. So today, this is my prep right here in the Class 5 area, and so we're going to be using that in those areas. So I usually just use about one dot, and then I just really buff this. I'm pretty aggressive about pushing it into all the grooves. I really want each dentinal tubule to be completely filled and occluded with this bonding agent. So 20 seconds is what the iTenna people recommend, the product developers recommend. And sometimes that feels a little bit long, but I feel like if I do what's recommended on the indication sheet, that I will have trouble-free fillings and everything will be good. So that's about 20 seconds there, then just 5 seconds with a little bit of air drying. And I just use a real nice light stream. I just try to get any of the extra out of there so that we don't have voids underneath the filling. And then lastly, we just go ahead and cure that. I have a high-powered curing light. This is only 4 seconds, but typically a little bit longer than that may be necessary, so we'll just do a little bit more. Okay, and then into the prep we go. I could use Reflectus Flow at this point, so let's just use a little bit just to show how I usually use it. This is a pretty conservative prep, but we'll pretend that it's not. So just a little dot right there. And then I'm just going to use my Explorer, and I'm just going to tease it right into any of the nooks and grooves, or any of the like undercut area there, maybe up underneath that. And I try to make sure that my instrument doesn't come in and out, so I introduce air bubbles. That's not exactly what we want. So there we are. And we'll light cure that. I also sometimes apply the flowable material, and then I just go right into my hybrid composite, and it just, if I'm applying this right on top of an uncured flowable, it just kind of pushes that into the grooves and seals up underneath. So now I'm just going to push this into position. I really love the way that this anterior-posterior hybrid composite works. Reflectus is very moldable, really user-friendly. I feel like it feels almost like butter to me. It just melts right into that prep. Where'd it go? Okay, so now you can see that it's all in position. We'll go ahead and cure that. And then just double check that so everything's filled there. Okay, I'm just going to use my high speed to take any extra bits away, and then we'll polish with the Perfect polishers. So for this particular shape and spot in the mouth, I would most likely use cup polisher for this, as I'm coming from this direction and I'm going to have to squeeze that cheek over. This just works better for me in my hands. So I'm just going to go around and just use that polisher and really let it work there. I can crank up the speed. Again, I'm at like 5,000, 10,000 RPMs. Or I can take it a little slower if I just need a lighter polish. But really this does all of the work, where you don't need to switch between different polishers, which sometimes is the case with different systems. This really just does it all by varying the pressure and the speed at which you go. I also like it, as you can see, there's some white dust that's accumulated on the prep, and it's not important as much in the posterior, but if I get up in the front and I'm embedding green and orange kind of powder there, it's sometimes kind of hard to remove, and it's just another step. So I like the white powder there. Of course I would rinse it off after this anyway, but it's just one less thing to have to really hassle with removing, and especially if it's embedded, going back over it with the polishing burr. Yeah, that's something I don't really want to have to fiddle with too much. The white just ensures that it's a little bit quicker cleanup. And there you have it, the finished product right there. Nice, clean margins. I find that Reflectus really has just a great way of masking the edges, the margins, and it works really well in my hands. So here you have it, the restoration of a Class 5 composite and the posterior.